Well, good afternoon, everybody. I thought it would be good to start off in the sanctuary, and then I'll transition over to the office for the remainder of my video. The annual board meeting was just this past Saturday. Rather than going away on an annual board retreat, as we often do, the board and I sat in the library, safely distanced, and we made some broad decisions and analysis of the parish. We do this every year, and it has guided this wonderful place ever since. Standing in this sanctuary that we have recently renovated, including a beautiful new tabernacle, has reminded me of the love and the grace of God, but also how much we miss this place. The opportunity to gather together has been taken away from us because of the pandemic, and soon that's going to transition away. But what we have created here is so vitally important, and that's why we care for her so much. You know, in this place, life happens. We celebrate the Holy Eucharist at the altar. The living presence of God is always kept safe in the tabernacle. People gather here for weddings and for funerals, for baptisms, for First Holy Communion, and for confirmations. We join one another in this beautiful place to sing together outside of the pandemic and to welcome one another with the love and the grace of God. One other thing that happens, though, is we also take the love that we have here and we go out there with it. And I've often reminded us that what we do here at God's altar is worthless if we hoard that love and refuse to take it beyond the doors. In other words, the work of God's holy church begins at the dismissal. So what happens with our outreach? Well, we're just getting ready to release our annual report, not just for the parish, but also for the outreach. So overall, the state of the parish is still good. We are down about $58,000 in annual giving. But the school is up almost $67,000 in giving and tuition through our scholarship and tuition programs. And we also were able to cut about $44,000 out of our budget. And even though we've upped our outreach by $22,000, overall, the state of the parish is still strong. We are looking to increase our average electronic giving in order to maintain what we have, but we also recognize that we're in the midst of a pandemic. And so we're going to take it slowly and softly on you, and we hope that you will take it slowly and softly on us as well. So what do we do with a budget for all of our four enterprises, the parish, the school, the cemetery, and the retreat center that is now just over $1.1 million? Well, the first thing that we do is we always look outward. So the retreat center is just online. We have afforded the opportunity to some brothers who were unable to pay anything, and they enjoyed the beautiful campus for free. We also have a few retreats scheduled, and so even though we are in the middle of a pandemic, we're still moving forward on utilizing the wonderful asset that we have called the Falls of St. Miriam. And is also open to all of you, of course. Outreach-wise, we're doing tremendously. Our St. Miriam Blessing Bag program for last fiscal year, the numbers will be announced this week, but let me give you a preview of just some highlights. 94,320 blessing bags were given out last year, even in the middle of the pandemic. 2,140 large pizzas were purchased and given out. 2,030 Wawa Shorty Hoagies, 3,600 hot oatmeal and soups, 14,000 meals were donated by our brothers and sisters within a few Baptist and Muslim organizations and distributed by the volunteers of St. Miriam. Over 4,000 sandwiches from our partners at Charity Crossing and through private donors. And then 27,000 hot meals were provided through our partners of Sunday Love, Angels in Motion, and the Grace Project. If you add that up, you'll find that well over 150,000 meals were given out to sustain those who are living on the streets. We made their world a bit better, but the truth is we made ours a whole lot better. And so we're proud of our outreach. Our school is growing. We have 3 waitlisted classrooms. It looks like by the fall of this year and maybe into the spring of 2022, our school will meet its max capacity as a licensed provider in this area. We have a lot to be proud of. The only region's Franciscan STEAM school for our age groups. It's been well received and the accolades are pouring in. We are hiring 2 new positions for the school. We have 2 new educators coming on board this week. And we also are looking to hire an assistant admin position to help us with our database and also our early school drop-off program. And we're going to also look at hiring a part-time groundskeeper because the expenses of the cemetery and the grounds are increasing every single year. And so rather than pay a company to do all the work, we thought that we would provide somebody without a job and also save the parish and cemetery some money in doing so. I took some heat a couple weeks ago because I spoke out against the insurrection at the government at our nation's capital. I'm not going to apologize for that. I think that it is incumbent upon faith leaders to speak the truth to power and also to speak the truth to evil. What would it say if we gathered and your priest said nothing? I know that one of the things that often rubs up against certain folks is when politics gets mixed in with the message of the sermon. But I have to tell you, as Catholics, we've endured that for many, many years, from abortion to civil rights to the death penalty. What does it say of a pastor who is unwilling to stand up and support the marginalized and the downtrodden? Certainly, if we are going to be pro-life, then we need to be pro-immigrant, pro-child, pro-food, school programs, pro-education, and anti-death penalty. But we also need to define what that welcome means to the immigrant and the refugee. What happened at the nation's capital was nothing less than an insurrection, an attempt at a coup to take over our nation's government. It's unprecedented, and it should be spoken out against. When the gospel message is rubbed up against those things that are occurring in our society, your priest should speak out against them. We did so on numerous occasions over the last several years on issues like healthcare, abortion, human rights, Muslim bans, and so forth. And I might remind everybody, as we are now turning our eyes toward the holy season of Lent, that it was not the religious leaders in and of themselves that put our Savior to death. It was the religious leaders in cahoots with the power of the day, the government, and they claimed that there was an insurrection that was about to occur, and they ended up executing Jesus on the cross that day. So whenever you see power, your priest should also be willing to speak to allow us to reflect on it. The safety of the sanctuary is not just a place where you come to hear God's word and all of the smooth things. The safety of the sanctuary is where you are empowered to take out that word and that gospel message to those on the streets. I'd like to also now turn my attention a little bit to the holy season of Lent that is coming up. We've been closed almost continuously starting last March for a full year. It's time that we try to come back. We have made really good decisions to keep everyone safe. I think that we're going to continue to do those things, but I'd also like to try to find a way to come back. I had several parishioners who reached out to me just over the last couple of weeks. One who was in absolute tears over the prospect of not coming back for another Lent. And so what I have discerned for us to do is that effective Wednesday, February 17th, which is Ash Wednesday, we are going to open up our doors to in-person gatherings again, but with all of the safety protocols that we had in place before, and also on a limited basis. And so I'm going to be issuing a letter and also some images that will be going out as we call our coming back, reclaiming Lent by coming home. Ash Wednesday, we will be distributing ashes in 2 safe manners. The priest to the left will be giving out ashes in the standard format, but sanitizing his finger in between each of those times. The priest to the right, or the clergy person to the right, will be given ashes in your hand, sprinkling them in the palm of your hand, and then you can apply the ashes to your forehead. If you do not wish either of those options, you can simply receive a blessing from the priest. If you choose to impose ashes upon your own forehead, you will then turn and there will be a sanitation station for you to cleanse your finger. We are in an unprecedented time. I know that, but we're doing wonderful things here at St. Miriam. Our parish is still strong. Our school is growing leaps and bounds. Our retreat center is online, and we've already been booking. Our cemetery is the lowest cost of maintenance since we took it over almost 7 years ago. And the vaccine is out in the community. And while it's not as prevalent as we wish it were, they are doing their best. And I'm sure that in short order, over the next several months, we're going to find our way back. Our Sunday schedule is going to be modified, 7:30 virtual by live stream, and the 9 a.m. Mass will welcome in-person gatherings with a limited cap, and you must do RSVP on our website to reserve a seat for that Mass. We will separate you by families and by individuals, just like we did before. Masks are still going to be mandated, and we ask that if you're feeling ill that you simply do not come, but participate from the safety of your home for everybody's well-being. I know that this video is a little longer, but I hope that it covered a lot of information for you. Please visit our brand new website that was launched yesterday. There's a couple of small issues that we're still working out, but it's a beautiful website, more in keeping with our ethos and spirit, and much easier to navigate, which should make everybody happy. Please join us on social media by liking our Facebook page and also our Instagram accounts. We do publish information, and that's where you're going to find all of the information related to coming back home for this coming Lent. I pray for those we've lost in this pandemic. I pray that the new projection of over 514,000 deaths by the end of this is going to be wrong. I pray that through our efforts and our prayers, our actions, that we will find our way back home here safely. I pray that what we've created here is worthy of your love and your support. I thank you for listening to me today, and I ask for your continued prayers for all of us in administration and ministry, that we do well by you. We certainly have tried our best, and we will continue to do so. God bless you. Thanks for listening. See you soon.